Admiral Kong Daeho felt his stomach drop as he stared at the massive display screen on his ship's bridge. The red warning lights flashed across his face while alarm sounds filled the air. Something huge had just appeared at the edge of their galaxy, and nobody knew what it was. "Sir, the object is moving toward us," said his young officer, Kim Min-soo, his voice shaking with fear. "It's bigger than anything we have ever seen before." Daeho had been protecting this part of space for 20 years. He had fought pirates, stopped wars between planets, and kept peace among different alien races. But he had never seen anything like this before. The ship on his screen was so large, it made their biggest warships look like tiny toys. "How big is it?" he asked, trying to keep his voice calm even though his heart was beating fast. "About 10 times larger than our main battle station, sir," Min-soo replied. "And sir, there's something strange about it. Our best computers cannot tell us what it's made of or how it works." The mysterious ship moved through space like it owned everything around it. It did not speed up or slow down, it just kept moving. Forward in a straight line toward the center of their galaxy where billions of people lived on thousands of planets. "Try to talk to them," Daeho ordered. "Use every language we know." For the next hour, they sent messages in over 300 different alien languages. They used radio waves, light signals, and even tried sending mathematical equations that any smart race would understand. But the huge ship ignored them completely, just kept moving forward like they did not exist. Other ships in Daeho's fleet started reporting the same thing. Captain Park Soyoung from the scout ship Quickwind sent a worried message. "Admiral, I flew as close as I could to the object, and my ship's sensors cannot see through its walls. It's like the ship is made of something that blocks all our equipment." Captain Lee Dongmin from the heavy cruiser Iron Fist reported something even more frightening, sir. "When I got near the object, all the power in my ship started acting strange. The lights dimmed, and my engines almost stopped working. Whatever that thing is, it affects everything around it." Daeho felt cold sweat on his skin. In all his years of service, he had learned to trust his instincts. Right now, those instincts were telling him that this was not just another alien ship looking for a new home or wanting to trade goods. This was something much more dangerous. "Send emergency messages to all the main fleets," he commanded. "Tell them we have an unknown contact heading toward the galactic core. Size and power level unknown. Intentions unknown." As the messages went out across space, Daeho watched the mysterious ship continue its journey, pass by a small mining planet without stopping. People living there sent their own messages, begging to know what was happening. But the ship ignored them too. Hours passed, and more reports came in. The ship had amazing technology that no one understood. It moved without using any kind of engine that their sensors could detect. It did not seem to need fuel or make any waste heat like normal ships did. Most frightening of all, space itself seemed to bend around it in ways that should have been impossible. "Sir," said his science officer, Dr. Nam Hai-jin, her face pale with worry. "I've been studying the energy readings from that ship. The power it's giving off is more than our entire fleet combined, maybe more than our entire planet's power supply." Daeho felt his mouth go dry. "Are you saying it could destroy us icily?" "I'm saying it could probably destroy our entire solar system without much effort," he replied quietly. The bridge became very quiet, except for the soft humming of the ship's systems. Everyone knew they were looking at something that could end their lives in seconds if it wanted to. But the mysterious ship just kept moving forward, not showing any interest in fighting or talking. Admiral Kim Min-soo said suddenly, his voice full of excitement and fear, "I'm getting something. Ship is finally sending a message." Everyone on the bridge held their breath as the message came through their speakers. But the sounds that came out were not like any alien language they had ever heard. The words were soft and flowing, almost musical, but completely unknown. "Can our computers translate it?" Daeho asked. Dr. Nam Hai-jin worked quickly on her computer for several minutes before shaking her head. "Sir, this language is not in any of our databases. But there's something strange about it. The computer thinks it might be related to some very old languages that died out thousands of years ago." The message played again, and this time everyone listened carefully. Even though they could not understand the words, there was something about the voice that made them feel sad and angry at the same time. "Keep working on the translation," Deho ordered, "and get me a direct line to the Galactic Council. They need to know about this right now." As his ship followed the mysterious vessel from a safe distance, Deho had a terrible feeling that their galaxy was about to change forever. Whatever was inside that giant ship had been gone for a very long time, and now it was coming home. Captain Lee Ginwoo stood at the large window of his ship, looking out at the hundreds of alien warships that surrounded them. After 3,000 years of hiding in the dark, empty space between galaxies, he was finally home. But home did not look the same as when his people had left it. "Captain," said Commander Park Min-ji as she walked up beside him, "the aliens are getting more upset. They've been trying to talk to us for 6 hours now. Their messages are coming in every few minutes." Jinwoo nodded slowly. He was a tall man with kind eyes, but those eyes had seen terrible things. His people had been running and hiding for so long that most of them had been born in the cold darkness of space, never seeing a sun or walking on solid ground. "What languages are they using?" he asked. "All of them, sir. They're trying everything they know. But our language is too old for their computers to understand quickly," Min-ji replied. "Should we make it easier for them?" Jinwoo thought about this question. His ship, the Terran's Promise, was filled with the last survivors of Earth. They had spent 3,000 years learning, growing, and becoming something more than what they used to be. The aliens who now filled their old home had tried to kill every human being in the galaxy. They had burned Earth cities, destroyed the colonies, and hunted his people like animals. "No," he said finally. "Let them work for it. Let them remember what it feels like to not understand, to be afraid of the unknown." On the bridge of the alien flagship, Admiral Kong Daeho was getting more worried by the hour. His best language experts were working day and night to figure out what the mysterious ship was saying. The sounds were beautiful but strange, like music mixed with words. Dr. Nam Hai-jin looked up from her computer with wide eyes. "Admiral, I think I figured out part of it. This language, ... it's very old. Older than any of our current civilizations." "How old?" Daeho asked. "Maybe 3,000 years, sir. From the time of the Great Cleaning." Everyone on the bridge became very quiet. The Great Cleaning was something that most people did not like to talk about. It was a time when many alien races had worked together to remove a dangerous species from the galaxy. The history books said it was necessary, that this species was too violent and would have destroyed everyone else. "That's impossible," whispered Captain Kim Min-soo. "That species is gone. We made sure of that." Dr. Nam Hai-jin's hand shook as she continued working on the translation. "Sir, I'm getting more of the message now. It says the children of Terra send greetings. We have returned." The bridge became so quiet that they could hear their own hearts beating. Terra was the old name for the planet that the dangerous species had come from. The planet that had been destroyed 3,000 years ago. "Are you telling me," Daeho said slowly, "that we're looking at humans?" Before Dr. Nam could answer, the huge ship sent another message. This time the translation came faster because their computers were learning the language patterns. "We are the survivors of the Great Cleaning," the voice said, and now they could hear that it belonged to a human man. "We're the children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren of the people you tried to kill. We have been waiting in the dark between the stars, growing stronger, learning new things, becoming more than we were before." Captain Lee Jinwoo smiled as he heard the alien ships all around them start talking to each other in panic. Their radio messages were full of fear and confusion. Some wanted to attack immediately, others wanted to run away. Few suggested trying to talk and make peace. "Sir," Commander Park Min-ji said, "we're getting direct messages from their leaders now. They want to know what we want." Jinwoo repeated the question, thinking about all the years his people had spent in the cold emptiness of space. They had watched their children grow up never seeing a real sky. They had buried their old people in the darkness, far from any sun or planet. "Tell them we want them to remember," he said. "Tell them we want them to understand what they did to us. Tell them that we have not forgotten the billions of humans who died because of their fear." The message went out, and soon every alien ship in the area was receiving it. On thousands of planets, leaders were waking up to news that their worst nightmare had come true. The species they thought they had destroyed forever had survived, and now they were back. But Jinwoo was not finished. Also tell them, he continued, that we did not come back for revenge. We came back because this is our home too. We came back because the galaxy needs to learn that trying to kill an entire species is wrong. We came back to make sure it never happens again. As the human ship continued toward the center of the galaxy, followed by hundreds of confused and frightened alien vessels, Jinwoo knew that everything was about to change. The galaxy had been quiet for 3,000 years, thinking it was safe from the humans. Now it was time for the galaxy to learn that humans were very hard to kill, and even harder to forget. The great meeting hall of the Galactic Council had never been so crowded or so loud. Representatives from hundreds of different alien species filled the room, all talking at once, all afraid. In the center of it all stood Ambassador Yim Soo-jin, the first human to enter this building in 3,000 years. She was a small woman with short black hair and calm eyes. And everyone in the room was looking at her like she was the most dangerous person in the galaxy. Behind her, a huge screen showed images that made many of the aliens cover their eyes or look away. "These pictures are lies," shouted the tall, green-skinned representative from the hegemony. His voice was so loud that the translation machines had trouble keeping up. Humans were never that many. They were just a small group of troublemakers. Soo-jin did not raise her voice. She did not need to. "Small group," she said, and her words seemed to fill the entire room. "Then why did it take 17 different species working together to hunt us down? Why did you need to destroy 57 planets to make sure we were all dead?" The screen behind her changed, showing old video recordings that had been hidden. For thousands of years, the aliens in the room watched their ancestors' ships bombing human cities. They saw human families running for their lives as alien soldiers chased them. They saw the last human colony ships being destroyed as they tried to escape into deep space. "These records come from your own military databases," Soo-jin continued. "Your ancestors were very good at keeping detailed reports of their genocide." An old alien with blue skin and forearms stood up, was shaking with anger or fear, maybe. "Both. That was 3,000 years ago. We were not even born then. You cannot blame us for what our great-great-grandparents did." "Can't we?" Soo-jin asked. She touched a button on her wrist device, and the screen showed something new. It was a list of names, thousands and thousands of names. "These are the humans who died on the planet Kepler-4 for 2b. Men, women, children, babies, all killed because your ancestors decided that humans were too dangerous to live." She touched the button again. More names appeared. "These died on New Tokyo. These on Mars Colony 7. These on the research station orbiting Proxima Centauri." The names kept coming, filling the screen, going on and on until the aliens in the room started to understand just how many people had been murdered. "My great-grandfather was 8 years old when your people found his family hiding in the mountains of New Earth," Soo-jin said, her voice still calm, but now everyone could hear the pain behind it. "He watched his parents die. He watched his little sister die. He was the only one who escaped, and he spent the rest of his life running, hiding, trying to survive in a galaxy that wanted him dead." The room became very quiet. Some of the aliens were crying now, understanding for the first time what their ancestors had really done. Others still looked angry, refusing to believe or accept the truth. "What do you want from us?" asked a small, furry alien with big eyes. "We cannot bring back the dead. We cannot change what happened. We want you to remember," Soo-jin said. "We want you to say out loud that what happened was wrong. We want you to promise that it will never happen again to any species. And we want you to help us build a better galaxy where no one has to run and hide just because they are different. And if we refuse?" asked the hegemony representative, his voice full of threat. Soo-jin smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "Then you will find out what 3,000 years of anger and learning and growing in the darkness between stars has taught us." As if her words were a signal, every light in the building suddenly became brighter. Then they became dimmer, then brighter again. The aliens looked around in confusion and fear as they realized that the human ship outside was somehow controlling their power systems from space. "That was just us saying hello," Soo-jin explained. We could do much more if we wanted to. We could turn off the lights on your planets. We could stop your ships from moving. We could make your suns burn colder or hotter. We learned many things. While we were hiding in the dark, the room erupted in shouting again. Some aliens demanded to know how the humans had become so powerful. Others wanted to call their armies to fight. A few begged for mercy. "You have 7 days," Sujin said, her voice cutting through all the noise. 7 days to decide what kind of galaxy you want to live in. 7 days to choose between the old way of fear and hatred or a new way of working together. 7 days to prove that you have learned something in the 3,000 years since you tried to kill us all. She turned and walked toward the exit, her footsteps echoing in the suddenly quiet room. "We will be waiting for your answer. We have gotten very good at waiting." As the door closed behind her, the aliens sat in stunned silence, finally understanding that the galaxy's most dangerous predator had returned, and this time it was much, much stronger than before. 7 days had passed, and the Galactic Council had given their answer. It was not the answer the humans had hoped for. Engineer Choi Sang-ho sat at his control station aboard the Terran's Promise, his fingers moving slowly across the glowing buttons and screens. He had been born in the darkness between galaxies, had never seen a real sunrise, and had spent his whole life learning how to bend the laws of physics to his will. Today, he would show the galaxy what humans had become during their long exile. "Are you ready, Sang-ho?" Captain Lee Jinwoo from behind him. "Yes, sir," Sang-ho replied, though his heart was beating fast. All systems are prepared for the demonstration. On the bridge's main screen, they could see the response from the Galactic Council. The alien leaders had talked for 7 days and nights, but in the end, they had chosen the same path their ancestors had walked 3,000 years ago. They refused to admit any wrongdoing. They refused to make any promises about the future. Instead, they demanded that the humans leave their galaxy immediately or face the combined might of all their armies. "They still think we're the same weak species they tried to destroy," said Commander Park Min-ji, shaking her head sadly. "They have no idea what we became while we were gone." Captain Jinwoo looked out at the thousands of alien warships that now surrounded them. Ships from every major species in the galaxy had come to this place, ready to finish what their ancestors had started. The aliens thought their numbers would be enough. They thought their weapons would be enough. They were wrong. "Begin the demonstration," Jinwoo ordered quietly. Sango's hands moved across his controls like he was playing a musical instrument. Around the human ship, space itself began to change. The first thing the aliens noticed was that their sensors stopped working properly. Then their weapon systems began to shut down one by one. Admiral Kang Dae-ho stared at his control screens in horror as every system on his flagship started failing. "What's happening?" He shouted to his crew. "Why aren't our weapons working?" "Something is affecting the basic forces that hold our ship together," reported Dr. Nam Haijin, her voice full of fear. "It's like they're rewriting the rules of physics around us." But that was just the beginning. Sang-ho smiled as he activated the next part of the demonstration. Far away, the bright yellow star that gave light and heat to this solar system began. Too dim. Slowly at first, then faster, until it was giving off only half its normal light. On planets throughout the system, billions of aliens looked up at their sky in terror as their sun grew dark. Emergency broadcasts filled the airwaves as scientists tried to explain what was happening. They had no explanation, because what the humans were doing should have been impossible. "The star is not dying," Sang-ho announced to the alien fleets through their communication systems. "We are simply showing it how to burn more slowly. We can make it bright again whenever we choose. Or we can make it go out completely." The alien ships tried to run away, but they found they could not move. Their engines worked, but space around them refused to let them go forward or backward. They were trapped like insects in invisible webs. Captain Kim Min-soo, aboard one of the smaller alien vessels, started crying as he realized what was happening. "They're not just controlling our technology," he whispered to his crew. "They're controlling the universe itself." But Sang-ho was not finished. He touched another control, and suddenly, a large planet on the edge of the solar system stopped spinning. It just hung in space, motionless, its day and night cycle frozen. On the planet's surface, the wind stopped blowing. The oceans became perfectly still. Time itself seemed to have paused. "We spent 3,000 years learning," came Captain Jinwoo's voice over every communication channel in the galaxy. "While you built bigger guns and faster ships, we learned how to speak to the fundamental forces of creation. We learned how to ask gravity to change its mind. We learned how to convince time to slow down or speed up. We learned how to make the impossible become possible." Throughout the galaxy, alien leaders watched the demonstration with growing horror. Their most powerful weapons were useless against beings who could turn off stars and stop planets from spinning. Their greatest scientists could not even understand how the humans were doing these things. "This is not magic," Seng-Ho explained, his voice reaching every inhabited world. "This is science that your species gave up pursuing because you were too busy fighting wars and conquering each other. We had nothing but time and the need to survive, so we kept learning and growing and becoming more than we were." Admiral Deho felt his legs give out under him as the full truth hit him. The humans had not just survived their attempted genocide. They had used those 3,000 years of exile to evolve beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. They had become like gods, able to control the very fabric of reality itself. "What do you want from us?" he whispered into his communication device. "The same thing we wanted 7 days ago," Jinwoo replied. "Justice, truth, a promise that genocide will never happen again. The choice is still yours, but now you understand the consequences of choosing wrongly." The demonstration ended, and the star began to shine brightly again. The planet started spinning. The alien ships found they could move once more, but nothing would ever be the same. The galaxy had learned that humans were no longer prey. Now they were the hunters. Ambassador Kim Hae-jin stood in the newly rebuilt Galactic Council chamber, looking at the document that would change everything. The room was much larger now. Special sections for the human representatives who had not been welcome here for 3,000 years. Sunlight streamed through the crystal dome above, casting rainbow patterns on the walls. The past months had been difficult. After the demonstration of human power, some alien species had immediately surrendered and begged for forgiveness. Others had tried to fight, sending massive fleets to attack the human ship. Those battles had been short and one-sided. The humans did not destroy the alien ships. They simply made them stop working until the crews inside agreed to listen. A few species had tried to run away to other galaxies, but they found that the humans were already there too. During their 3,000 years of exile, humanity had spread across the dark spaces between galaxies, building hidden cities and learning from civilizations that the local aliens had never even imagined existed. "Are you ready?" asked Captain Lee Jinwoo, who now wore the uniform of the first human ambassador to the Galactic Council. His hair had turned gray during the long negotiations, but his eyes still held the same determination that had carried his people through their darkest times. "As ready as anyone can be to change the course of galactic history," Hae-jin replied with a small smile. The Terran Accord lay on the table before them. It was not a surrender document or a punishment list. Instead, it was something much more powerful, a new set of rules for how different species would treat each other in the future. The first alien to approach the signing table was Elder Kong Minho, representing the Veltron people. His blue skin was marked with the ritual scars that showed his grief for his people's past actions. The Veltrons had lost 3 entire worlds during the fighting that followed humanity's return. It's not because the humans had attacked them, but because other alien species had blamed them for starting the ancient genocide. "We accept the accord," he said in a voice shaken by emotion. "We acknowledge that our ancestors committed terrible crimes against humanity. We promise to teach our children the truth about what happened, so that such hatred never grows again." In our hearts, Eugene nodded respectfully as the old alien signed his name. The Veltrons had been among the first to admit their wrongdoing and ask for forgiveness. In return, the humans had shared their medical technology, healing diseases that had plagued the Veltron people for generations. One by one, other species came forward. The insect-like Zephyrians, whose ancestors had provided the ships used to hunt human refugees. The rock-bodied crystalline collective, who had helped track down human hiding places with their advanced sensors. Even some of the hegemony worlds, though their main government still refused to participate. Admiral Kong Daeho, who had been the first to encounter the returning human ship, stepped forward, representing the reformed hegemony, a group of military officers who had broken away from their old government. His 6 eyes were wet with tears. As he spoke, "I have seen what hatred and fear can create," he said. "I have seen the weapons we built to destroy others, and I have seen the cost of using them. My people, ... Some of my people choose to remain in the darkness of the past. But I and those who follow me choose to step into the light of this new future." As he signed the document, Hyjin remembered the first time she had met Daeho. It was during one of the peace negotiations, after his fleet had tried unsuccessfully to fight the human ship. He had been so angry then, so sure that humans were evil and dangerous. But months of talking and learning had changed him, just as they had changed many others. "The Accord is not about punishment," Hyjin announced to the gathered representatives. "It is about prevention. We are creating a system where no species can ever again decide that another species should be wiped out. We are building a galaxy where differences are celebrated, not feared." The document included many new rules. Any species that tried to commit genocide would face the combined response of all other species. Conflicts between different peoples would be solved through talking and compromise, not war. Most importantly, no species would ever again be forced to flee their homes just because others were afraid of them. Captain Jinwoo stepped forward to add his signature to the accord. As he wrote his name, he thought about his great-grandfather, who had died never seeing his home again. He thought about all the human children who had been born in the cold darkness between stars, dreaming of planets they would never see. "Today, we do not just sign a treaty," Jinwoo said. "Today, we plant the seeds of a future where our children and grandchildren will grow up in a galaxy that is safe for everyone, where being different is not a crime punishable by death." The ceremony lasted for hours as more and more species added their names. Not everyone signed. Some alien governments still refused to admit any wrongdoing, but enough signed to matter. More than enough to change everything. As the day ended, Hyjin looked up through the crystal dome at the stars above. Somewhere out there, the Terran's Promise waited with its sister ships, no longer alone in the darkness. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, and for the first time in 3,000 years, humanity would explore it not as refugees or conquerors, but as partners in building something better. The long night was finally over, and dawn had come to the galaxy.